Hi guys, my name is Mutumba Amisi. This is my video on the final project. It required us a number of questions, which we're just going to go through here. So my server role is just to store files, more so the large database for our promisedland.com, and this this server, because it's serving a number of people in each department. Some are working remotely while others are working on premise. So it suits the IT structure because it is in a position to deliver the necessary services. And when I went ahead to look at what the server is going to do, I considered members to be in groups. And these members who are going to be in groups will need the storage. And which storage I went ahead to mount. I created different mount points as I'm going to indicate here. So I'm just going to use sudo lsbolk space F, and it's going to indicate that I have my devices here, which I formatted, some using XFS file system, whereas others using the ext4 file system. And I created mount points for the different devices here. We'll have operations, applications, structures, and so on and so forth. So I want to make sure that I group these people. And when I group these people, I assign the passwords for every group. And I'm just going to indicate this by typing sudo got etc/key shadow. So when I do that, it is displaying the different groups here. We have application, infrastructure, CRM, finance, and so on and so forth. So I went ahead to put members in those groups, and I went ahead to set a password for them, such that no need for authentication if at all you are a member of that particular group. I also went ahead to assign permissions here. Like I created directories depending on those groups. If I display the directories here, I'm just going to use ls. So the directories here are very clear. We are having the application, the CIO, CRM, director, have finance, or have infrastructure and operation. These directories are going to contain the files that are going to be shared by members in each and every group. I went ahead also to change the ownership here, whereby the directory of application is owned by Brian, who happens to be the manager here. And then the team which is going to be sharing this directory is the application team. So when I went to CIO, so we are having the owner here, the user who is Carrie, who is the CIO, who is the director. And then the group is CIO, though there's only one person that particular group. So in CRM directory, it's going to be owned by Cole, who happens to be the manager, and then the group will be the team for CRM, and so on and so forth. Then I also went ahead to create files in each and every group, and I assigned the ACL permissions. So let me change to applications directory. And here I am in application directory. So I'm going to type ls. And then there is a file here called application.txt. I'm just going to examine the SL permissions that are granted to members there. So I'm going to say sudo get faco on application .txt. And then you clearly going to see that we are having a user carry who happens to be the CIO and is only given read permissions as the question dictates. The manager here is given the read, write, and execute permissions, whereas the team here is given the read and write permissions only. So if I go ahead and I change and go back to, probably I check for infrastructure, change to infrastructure. Then I'm there. Then when I type ls with L, then it's going to display this text that I created. And when I use sudo get facl on infrastructure .txt, so it's going to display the carry who happens to be the CIO. It's only given the read permissions, but the owner here, who is happen to be Joseph Maski, is having the read, write, and execute permissions, whereas the rest are having read and write permission. I did that for the rest of the directories. Let me check one more here. If I change to operations, and I'm there now, ls L, then there's that text there, which is operations.txt. So I'm just going to examine the permissions that I gave there. So I just use sudo get facl on operations.txt. So still the same happens where carry is given only read permissions, but Richard Marx, who happens to be the manager, is given the read, write, and execute permissions, while the rest are given read, write permissions only. So that's what I did for the case of the permissions. Then when it came to our message here, came to the message of the day. I configured that message of the day by using what we call the /etc/motd file. I edited that file. Let me check it up here. I edited that file using Nano Editor, which is my favorite editor. And then I created a message there, which is going to be display. You are welcome, Mutumba. So after editing it, I changed it and I changed its mode. And then when I query this etc/motd, it's going to display that message. Then another question was to update my system. I updated and I upgraded my system very well. And I used a sudo apt update space ampersand space sudo apt upgrade space --dry -run, and then I managed to get all my packages, and they're all done. So saying that all packages are up to date as clearly indicated the information there. So I went also to install the desktop, the GNOME desktop Ubuntu, and to display this, I used this command, task cell space --list tasks, and it is clearly indicating that the U desktop, Debian desktop environment of the GNOME, and it's clearly even in the list, as you can see it there. Okay. We're also saying that we query, we make sure this thing is given a cron tab job, where it's going to reboot every after 2 years. I was too much specific that I went ahead to use my nano editor, and then I installed that cron tab job. And then configuring the firewall, I went ahead to do it here. As you can see, we have used the sudo ufw status, and it's active and it's allowing traffic through that port. And I think I've exhausted some of these questions. The rest of the detailed information is found on the text that I've attached together with this video. Otherwise, thank you for listening.